You've been learning English for months, maybe years. You study grammar, you memorize vocabulary, you watch YouTube videos. You're ready. So why does this keep happening? You walk into a cafe, you try to order a cappuccino. The barista looks at you like you just said something in Klingon. Or you're in a meeting. You use a phrase you know is correct. Everyone goes silent. Or you're texting someone you like. You send a message that makes sense in your head. They respond with, are you okay? The problem isn't your English. The problem is that real English, the English native speakers actually use, isn't what you learned in textbooks. Today, we're breaking down 5 real situations where English learners make mistakes that sound absolutely insane to native speakers. Not because your grammar is wrong, but because you missed something way more important. And by the end of this video, you're going to see exactly what it is. Let's go. It's Tuesday night. You're at a restaurant with your American friend, Tom. You've been studying English for 2 years. You feel ready. The waiter comes over. He says, "What can I get you today?" You look at the menu. You see it clearly. You practice the sentence 50 times at home in front of the mirror. Your heart is beating normally. You're confident. You open your mouth and say, "I want to order a fork." The waiter pauses. He doesn't move. He just stares at you. He says slowly, "A fork? You want to order a fork as a dish?" Now you're confused because you did say the right word. At least you think you did. You repeat it louder this time. Yes, a fork, like the food, with rice. Tom is now holding his stomach. He's laughing so hard that other customers are turning to look. The waiter looks genuinely concerned. He's trying so hard not to laugh. He asks, "Sir, do you want a fish? Is that what you meant?" And that's when it hits you. You didn't say fish. You said fork. Here's the thing. This isn't a dumb mistake. This is a pronunciation problem that affects millions of English learners. You see, fish and fork sound nothing alike in English, but in your native language, they probably sound very similar, and your mouth is trained to make the sounds from your language, not English. In English, fish is pronounced with the SH sound at the end, like a snake, shh. In English, fork ends with the K sound, like a hard stop. But what you probably said was something like fork with a weird pronunciation of the first vowel, because you were trying to make a sound that doesn't exist in English the same way it exists in your language. Or, and this is the big one, you didn't use the SH sound at the end of fish. You used your native language's version of that sound, which came out sounding more like a K sound. Here's the actual good news. This is super easy to fix. The SH sound exists in your native language. You use it every day. Right now, I want you to do something. Make the SH sound like you're telling someone to be quiet. Ready? Shh. Good. That's it. That's the sound. Now, hold that sound and move your tongue slightly. Say, shh. That's the beginning of fish. Now say the whole word. Fish. See? You just said it correctly. Next time you're at a restaurant, you're going to say fish like a native, and the waiter is not going to think you're trying to order cutlery. And Tom, he's going to be so impressed that he buys you dinner. Fast forward 3 months. You're sitting in a waiting room. English-speaking company, 5 people on the interview panel. Your heart is racing. You've prepared for this moment. You studied for weeks. You know all the grammar. You know all the vocabulary. The first interviewer leans forward and asks, "So tell us about a time you had to deal with a difficult situation at work." You take a breath, and instead of translating in your head, you just speak. You say, "Yes, absolutely. One time my coworker and I had a really difficult client situation. The client was unhappy with the project timeline and they wanted to change everything last minute, so we had to sort it out together. We had to think on our feet and come up with a solution that would work for everyone." The room goes quiet. Then everyone nods. They're writing notes. They're smiling. This is good. You keep going. "We ended up finding a middle ground. It wasn't perfect, but we pulled it off. And actually, the client became one of our best customers after that." More notes, more nodding. Why did that work? Because you didn't just use correct grammar. You used native phrases. Listen to what you said. Deal with means to handle or manage a problem. Sort it out means to figure it out or resolve it together. Think on your feet means to make quick decisions. Come up with means to invent or create a solution. Pulled it off means to successfully complete something difficult. These aren't fancy vocabulary words. They're chunks. phrases that native speakers use in real conversations. And here's what's critical. You didn't translate these into English. You used them naturally. You didn't say, we had to think on our feet like you were reading from a script. You said it like you've said it 1,000 times before, because that's what native speakers notice, not your grammar, your delivery. 2 weeks later, we'd like to offer you the position. Congratulations, your English got you the job. Now for the one that's going to make you cringe so hard you want to close this video. You're on a first date with someone you really like. You're nervous, but you're speaking English fluently and you're feeling good. You're talking about your weekend. You say, last Saturday I went out with some friends. We had such a great time. I was absolutely dying. Your date's eyes go wide. You were dying? You realize immediately you made a massive mistake. In your language, the phrase literally means you were laughing so hard you felt like you were dying. It's normal, it's funny, everyone says it. But in English, when you say I was dying, native speakers think you were seriously ill, you were in a medical emergency, or something bad happened and you're mentioning it casually. Your date is now genuinely concerned. Are you okay? Do you need medical attention? And you have to spend the next 5 minutes explaining an idiom while your date thinks you either had a serious health crisis and just mentioned it, are being extremely dramatic about a good weekend, or don't make any sense. The date ends awkwardly, you get home and think, I failed. I'm never going to find love because of my English. But here's the secret. You learned something really important. Same phrase, completely different meaning. Why? Because in English, context and tone change everything. In your native language, I was dying can be positive, laughing, happy. In English, the same phrase with the wrong context can sound negative, concerning, and confusing. But the same phrase with the right context can sound positive, funny, and natural. Here's what native speakers do, and what textbooks never teach. They use the phrase with the right tone, light, funny, obviously joking. They use it only with the right people, close friends, not first dates. They show they're joking through their face and body language, not just words. You said it flatly. You said it to someone you just met. You said it like you were reporting news. So she didn't hear, I was laughing so hard. She heard, something bad happened and this person is not taking it seriously. The lesson? Phrases aren't just words. Their context, their tone, their relationship. On your next date, you're going to laugh first, then say, I was dying. And she's going to get it, because the context makes it clear. That's real English. You're at a coffee shop in Los Angeles. You're ordering your drink. You say clearly, I want a 15-ounce cappuccino. The barista says, a 50-ounce cappuccino? That's really big. You're confused. You repeat it. 15. The barista says again, right, 50. Finally, you just nod and accept your enormous drink. What happened? Did you mispronounce? Did the barista mishear? Actually, both. Here's the thing. About English numbers that nobody warns you about. 15 and 50 are really hard to distinguish in native English speech. Say both out loud. 15, 15, 50, 50. They sound almost identical in fast speech, and native speakers, especially in real-time conversations, don't slow down to make the difference clear. Your problem wasn't pronunciation. Your problem was that you expected the barista to hear a difference that's actually really hard to hear in real English. The win here? Learn to use context to clarify. Say, I want the 15-ounce size, the middle one, not the large. Now she knows. Context saves the day. You're texting someone you like. You write, I have broken up with my last girlfriend. They respond, oh no, when did this happen? Are you okay? You're confused. You were just trying to explain that you're single, you're available. This should be good news. But they're responding like you just experienced a painful breakup. What went wrong? Your grammar is perfect. Your sentence is grammatically correct. But your meaning is completely wrong. In English, the present perfect has a specific meaning. I have broken up means I experienced a breakup at some unspecified time in the past, and it might still affect me now. When you text this to someone you like, they think, this person is dealing with heartbreak right now. But what you meant was, I am single. I have a history of being in relationships that ended. Or, I'm not in a relationship. I broke up with my last girlfriend, but it was a while ago. The grammar of your sentence was right, but the context and timing of using it was wrong. You see, real English isn't just about grammar rules. It's about understanding when to use which grammar and what native speakers think when they hear it. That's the gap that separates textbook English from real English. So here's what we learned today. First, pronunciation matters. Specific sounds make or break your meaning. Second, native phrases are stronger than translated words. Use chunks, not individual vocabulary. Third, context is king. The same phrase can have a completely different meaning in a different situation. Fourth, clarify with context. Don't rely on native speakers hearing tiny sound differences perfectly. Fifth, grammar is not the same as natural English. Even perfect grammar can sound weird if you use it at the wrong time. The pattern? Real English isn't about being perfect. It's about being natural. It's about understanding why native speakers say things the way they do. Now here's your turn. Drop your biggest English fail in the comments. The funniest one, the most embarrassing one, the one that still makes you cringe. The best stories? We're featuring them in our next video. Seriously, your story could be next week's lesson. Subscribe to Fluent Path English. New video every week, same time. I'm Emma. Thanks for watching. And hey, your English is way better than you think. You're here, you're trying, that's what matters. See you next time.